Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an interesting game to share with you from the quarterfinals of the 2025 FIDE World Cup. This was played today, November 18th. On the white end, Arjun Erigaisi, playing against Wei. Alright, this is game 2 of 2, classical time controls. Their first game was drawn. We have an exchange, Queen's Gambit declined, where the bad bishops are both deployed actively. From here, White's next move, a move you will not find, at least according to the Lichess Masters database, Knight h4, targeting the bishop, and the bishop does not move. In this case, Black says I too can play that game. From here, the bishops are going to be captured. Trying something else, for instance, bishop captures knight, Black will not be recapturing on b8. Instead, queen captures knight is there, and Black is for choice. All right, in this one, the bishops are captured. An unusual start to this one, but from this point on, play develops fairly normally. g3, knight kicked back, e3, knight d7, queen b3, b pawn defended, and queen c2. So, what's the story with this little queen finesse? Well, first of all, as white, you don't want to allow a case of double isolated pawns. So you avoid that, and maybe in a way you are saying the queen is misplaced. That must be what white is saying here. How could white maybe take advantage of this? Well, for one, maybe in white's future there is a knight a4 into c5 idea. It would now hit with tempo. Additionally, queen on b6 doesn't watch this central point d5. It may make life a bit more difficult for Black to successfully play a c5 break. All right, in this one we have g6, knight h4, both players fianchetto, same sides castles game. Rook f to e8, knight not doing anything on the edge, goes to f3, rook a to c8, rook f to e1, knight improvement, all pieces now playing, and play now heats up. Now that d5 is defended, we get to see the c5 break. From here, white captures on c5. Another move that was likely being calculated was knight a4 with a fork. In the case of knight a4, there is queen a5, and in the case of this capture, there is knight e4. This point will soon fall. Bishop's eyes are opened up. Equal position here. Okay. How white plays it, it is the immediate capture on c5. Rook takes c5. Knight in a pin. Immediately unpinned. And now there's a fork idea nearby. Queen c6. Knight d2. Pop quiz. How would you respond here? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, big moment in this game. Black blunders. Plays knight d7. The top move is knight h5. Now, first of all, what's the idea behind knight d2? Nearby for white is knight b3, rook awkwardly posted, few safe squares. Knight b3, rook c4, knight a5 is an idea, winning the exchange through a fork. Now, if Black plays a different move, rather than a knight move here, let's say b6, watching over this idea, that would not be good enough. Knight b3 is still there, and there's a trick here on d5. Two serious problems now to collect the rook, as well as collect the queen. No good answer here for Black. All right, in this game, it is knight d7. We're going to touch on a difference, a key difference between knight d7 and h5 soon enough. Let's see how it plays out in the game. We have from here knight b3 in both cases with the knight moves. The bishop's eyes are opened up. Play now follows with bishop captures knight. Knight captures rook, bishop captures rook is there, so play continues with pawn captures bishop. Rook captures pawn is played here. If rook c4, we have the fork. If b5, we have another fork. c4 is there, exploiting the pin. In this game, it is rook captures pawn. Another pop quiz. What is your move here? Pause the video if you'd like. Okay, white is winning, but does not find the winning way. He plays here queen d2. Here's the winning path. Kicks off with this deflection idea. Now, he of course saw the deflection idea, but something further down the line kept him from going for this line. First of all, you've just given up a key kingside defender. Light square weaknesses, you don't have the bishop around to defend. And what would you now be doing as white in response to knight g5? This is scary. There is a winning path, a narrow one. White would have to spot two only moves here. First one being e4. This helps out with the defense of f3. And after rook takes e4, the only winning move is with rook d1. Now, if you block with this rook, there'd be a rook exchange, and then knight f3 is there. Landing a fork, you get the exchange back. In the end, you're up a pawn. Rook d1 would be the only move. And now there are still a couple moves to examine from this position. First of all, rook takes queen, okay. No problem there for white. You're up the exchange and winning. However, in the case of knight h3 check, king f1, rook d4, do you have a move here? Two serious threats to take the rook as well as deliver checkmate. You would have a way out. Only one move, queen e8 check. Black blocks, removes the king, and now you're ready to take the rook. e2 in that line is vacant. King could run. Okay, anything else to note? Yes. In this situation here, when you're calculating, okay, I take your queen, you take mine, well, hang on. Can my queen not first capture one of your pieces? Desperado? Sacrifice? Queen captures b3 is not a resource here with the knight on d7 versus h5. Queen captures knight, you take the queen. Rook takes queen, there's rook captures knight. But this resource, queen captures knight, would be there with the line knight h5. This is a key difference between those two knight moves. Some deep stuff here, no doubt. Okay, how it is playing out in this game, we do not see bishop captures d5 the winning way. In the game, queen d2, rook exchange, queen keeps pressure on something, bishop captures d5, knight f6, bishop g2, rook d8, queen b2, and from here the knight hits the reverse button, knight e8 it is. Why not move in the forward? If you go to the central post, white is for choice, nearly winning, in fact, after knight d4. This is not a well-positioned piece. Knight here on d5 interferes with the defense of d4. Knight d4 very strong in this position. Okay. Knight takes knight, queen takes knight, white works on a pin. All right. In this game, it is knight e8. Knight d4, totally different. Knight takes knight, no time to recapture with the queen. You have to work with an isolated pawn. In this game, we have knight d2, queen e2, a couple ways out of this pin, knight c4, as well as the move in the game, rook c2. Queen check, knight blocks, b6, b pawn saved, and after rook d2, players agreed to a draw. It is an equal position here. Dust has settled on those that sharp position. Players have consolidated here. If play continued, we might see a minor piece specific ending that is equal. Even in an environment where, a situation where, let's say the queenside pawns are exchanged, white, let's say, winning a pawn, there is a resource available to black. Situation here, bishop and h-pawn, king versus king alone. That's a draw. White here with the wrong colored bishop. Anyhow, we're a long ways off from that. This is an equal ending, and then with the minor pieces alone. Interesting game. Missed tactic there on d5. I wonder what it was exactly down that path that Erigaisi missed. Okay, Wei, for the moment at least, still alive. This one now moving into tie breaks tomorrow. Anyhow, your thoughts with this one, feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.